This is what every producer can learn from Madlib. So Madlib is known for his lo-fi-esque sample selection, his truncated vocal chops, and his swingy drums. Let's hop straight into FL Studio, and I'll show you guys every step of the way. So firstly, you need to download samples that sound like Madlib. So go on YouTube, type in Madlib samples, and find different playlists on YouTube to find. In this video, I'll show you how to get that SP404 sound without even using the SP404. We're going to use only stock FL Studio stuff. And let's just get the chopping. So first thing we need to listen for is a vocal sample. So here's a record here. We're going to hit shift left click to jump around the browser, because we could chop that part out. So the sample feels very in that pocket. So another thing is the sample itself does not have a bunch of high frequencies. A lot of this stuff is built for like film, and it's just not super bright. Okay, so let's right click and let's open this in a slice. You guys can auto slice if you want, but I'll show you guys how to slice from scratch. So basically in slice, you could hit the letter M and it will make a slice for you. So let's see here at the beginning. And I recommend you guys turn on your snap to grid to snap to zero crossings. Okay, so let's go to the beginning here, zoom all the way in. I recommend a big screen for this. We're gonna double click here because you can't count in the downbeat of the first beat. So just hit M and then enter will create a marker. So now I could play this on my actual keyboard. And if you don't have a MIDI controller, you can go here to typing controller, right click, hit reset, and then switch this to the layout called Slice X. Okay, so now we're gonna move this marker over so that it captures that transient. So now we're gonna listen to the sample and just hit M whenever we want a slice. So let's listen in. 3, 4, and 2, 2, 3, 4, and that was kind of like a false start. Okay, so there's that. This is tricky because it's like more of a film. So let's go back here. 3, 4, and 2. Oh, sorry, y'all. Okay. 2, 2, 3, 4, and 3, 2, 3, 4, and chop, 2, 3, and chop. See, this is why it's hard, because no beat to it. So I'm visually doing this. Okay, so that dun 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 is definitely in that park of Madlib. Okay, so let's. So let's loop this. Dun, 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 dun. That's pretty cool. Okay, so now we have the chops. Let's hit Control X in the channel rack. Get rid of any pre-existing MIDI. Hit Control L. Let's go to the playlist here. Let's tap the tempo. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, now remember, we don't have a BPM on the sample. So we have to do this by ear. Let's go to song mode. Okay, so see how I'm ending it differently each time? What we're going to do though is double click, hit Alt Q, and quantize. Okay, so 97 BPM, we made the sample feel like it's there. So let's do a couple techniques. So the first one, if let's say your sample does not have a lo-fi feel to it, I'll show you guys how to create the lo-fi feel. There's a free plugin called Kilohertz Bit Crush. This is the best plugin for this, in my opinion. It's free. It's in their essentials pack. Turn the D to basically it's called the digital to analog conversion. Turn the DAC quality up. Okay, and now lower the sample rate, and this will chop out the high frequencies. So if your sample isn't naturally soft, you could use this technique. Here's without it. It's a little bit brighter. So let's add this for some texture here. So it's chopping out those high frequencies. It does more than just filter. It just removes high frequencies completely. All right, now we need to find a vocal sample. So let's keep going through these samples and see if we can find little vocal chop areas. So again, hit shift left click and just jump around. We could also add more chops in here, but I'd recommend for this video, we could add this. I heard a horn in here that I might use. Let's turn this down. See, it's the same type of sound selection. I don't know if I can find that spot though. This might not. It might be too hard to find that exact spot that I heard. What we'd have to do though is slow this down. And that would change the tuning, but it was worth trying to see. All right, let's look for that vocal chop though. So this is the hard part, just finding a record that has an open vocal. So I'm going to pause the video till I find one. All right, so here's a record here, but I like it, but it has stuff around it. So let's find the Give You All the Love part. And actually, let's just click in the top left, go to extract stems. We're going to solo the vocals here, and this will create an acapella from the record. And it will take, you know, if you have a more powerful PC or computer, you guys will be fine. If you're on a slower computer, I recommend you only limit your selection to 8 bars or less, because this could take forever if you're on a slower computer. So my laptop, for example, couldn't handle the same process, but the this computer can. So it just depends on your computer, this process here. But again, I would only recommend 8 bars at a time. So chop up your sample, make it unique as sample, and chop it into 8 bars at a time. Now we have the acapella.
I gave you all the love.
Okay, let's just chop this part. I gave you all the love. We don't need the whole song because we just want one part from it. Grab this, make unique as sample, double click, right click, and then we can open it in Slice, or we could just play it as a truncated sample. Let's open it in a sampler because we need the envelope for the sampler. And we're going to use a technique called the truncation technique, where we just turn the hold parameter up for the volume. And now when we let go of the key. Okay, so let's change the sample start time. Okay, the sample stops depending on, and that's a very common Madlib technique, is to truncate that vocal throughout the track. So let's run this back. Okay, let's find that sampler. So you got to be careful not to use the original audio. Now let's add this. Now I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. Actually, let me see. How can we do this? Let's change the pitch so that it speeds up the sample. So now it lines up with the sample timing. Very small time adjustment there. Now let's go back and record to the metronome, because we don't have drums yet. So let's just record to the metronome.
I gave you all the love. I gave you all the love. I gave you all the love.
All right, so that's how we're going to add that. So far we have the sample. We chopped off the top of the sample to create that lo-fi effect, and we have the vocal chop. So you guys learned a lot of the steps already. So we're pretty much there. All we need is drums at this point. Now, also too, he might do something like this. I'll show you guys how to do it. We're going to right click and link this to a controller or create an automation clip. Whatever way is faster for you. Let's create an automation clip for now. Right click and hit C to copy that initial value. The default middle pan position, because it's what's called bipolar, it has 2 ways you can pan, left or right. 50% is actually the default value, not 0. So be careful with this. And basically we can create an automation for the panning over time. And what this will do is just it creates a randomness to the vocal.
I gave you,
Okay, so we're gonna just automate the panning.
I gave you all the love. I gave you,
Okay, so next we just need to focus on our drums and use
I gave you all the love.
some ghost kicks. So now we need a drum break. So, I mean, any drum break, we just need to match the tone here. There's a lot of drum breaks on the internet. You guys just got to do your research and look for different drum break companies out there. I recommend Beat Butcher. Tamuz has really good. TAMUZ has really good drum breaks. Cookin' Soul has good drum kits. The Alchemist has drum kits. AJ Hall has good drum breaks, but you want to look for drum breaks for this style because they have different textures on each drum. It's not just like boom, boom, clap, boom, boom, clap. It's like a texture on each sample. So we need to find drums that match the tone.
I gave you,
So these drums match. Let's right click, open and slice. And again, you could use your typing keyboard, right click, hit reset, and then right click and select the slice if you want to use your typing keyboard, if you don't have a MIDI controller.
all the love.
All right, now we're gonna just program some drums just by playing them in.
I gave you, I gave you, I gave you all the love. I gave you,
All right, so let's do the hi-hats and snares first because it's a little tricky to play all these at once. So I'm playing this hi-hat. Two different hi-hats here.
I gave you, I gave you all the love. I gave you, I gave you all the love.
So I played a longer pattern just so we had more variation. That's kind of what they did when they played on their units, whether SP404 or the MPC. They just play longer because it's drumming, finger drumming. Let's add the snare in.
I gave you, I gave you all the love. I gave you, I gave you all the love.
Okay, so now we need to do the kick. So it's ba-boom. Okay, so the ba needs to have a softer kick usually. You could just play one softer and one harder if you have velocity sensitivity. So basically it goes ba-boom like that. So we usually can use two kicks.
I gave you, I gave you all the love. I gave you, I gave you all the love.
Okay, so with the drums and everything, let's hit Control G, group these all into one pattern because I'll show you guys something here. We can go to the slice and highlight everything. We can hit Alt Q. I show you in a different video how to install what's called the MPC quantized settings. Basically, in short, you need to download this from our Discord, discord.gg/busyworksbeats. Click this folder icon, click the drop down, go to the scores area, and you want to drag and drop your download straight into this folder. If you don't know where the folder is, click your drop down. It should show the hierarchy of the folders here. So if you're on a Mac, let me just show you quickly how to do it. All right, so we need to go to the applications, go to FL Studio, right click, show package contents, double click on contents, go to resources, go to FL, go to data, go to patches, go to scores. And then we need to drag and drop the download from the Discord into here. Just double click, it will open up into a new folder with the MPC score files here. So that's where you get these from. Okay, now you can double click in here. And we want our drums to have an MPC swing, whether the MPC 60 or whatever. Let's just start here 50%. And now if we move the start time, you can see the notes moving around there.
I gave you, I gave you all the love.
So now it has more of a tightened swing. It doesn't sound so loose. And we can still go back and swap out the kick if it doesn't have enough energy behind it. So I'm trying to figure out why this sounds smeary. Sounds like we have some like doubling of a sample here. I guess that's just what the snare sounds like.
I give you
So these drums are a little thin, not gonna lie. So let me see if I can swap this out for a different drum kit. All right, so I swapped the drums out for just more drums that just felt better. So again, we could hit Alt Q and start quantizing these.
I give you all the love.
So if you guys want more, segmented drums, you guys could separate the kick from the hi-hat. I don't have time to go through every single step here, but basically you would just figure out which marker is your kick. For example, 57 is the kick. Go to marker 57 inside of Slice. Just find it with the marker tabs here. Double click. Here's our kick. Firstly, I want to move the slider and then double, and also to remove marker 58 because that is going to mess it up. Turn off the auto dump mode, hit Control Z if that ever does anything to your screen. And now we can double click on marker 57 and send this to a different filter articulation group and set it to low pass filter. So now it's on a whole different group, which has different effects.
I give you
So now that kick is a low pass filter over it, it's going to muffle the sound.
all the love.
We could also turn up the volume here for the kick.
I give you all the love.
So we need to find that secondary kick, which is marker 49, and send it to the same
I
group.
give you,
Okay, so double click, send it to articulator group 2.
I give you, I give you all the love.
Now we have them. So that was a little tedious, but now the drums feel a little more separated. Okay, now on to making the sample feel retro. We can go to Fruity Delay 3 and turn the wet level all the way up, feedback level down, delay time down. Everything else becomes an effect. Here's where you can mess with the low pass filter, the sample rate, but it adds that ring, so be careful with that. But here I love the limit mode because this is a really nice compressor similar to the SP404 sound. Sometimes you got to push the volume going into it, so let's add a parametric EQ2 and just boost it with the gain knob on the left.
All the love.
So now it's going into the limiter very aggressively.
I give you all the love.
Okay, let's add a little more vibe to the drums here. Saturate them a little bit more.
I give you,
So the hi-hat's a little... Let's figure out 52 and 51. Let's figure out these chops. There's a little flaw in the sample here, so I'm gonna fix this. There we go.
I give you, I give you all the love.
All right, so I fixed the flaw in the chop.
I give you, I give you all the love.
Okay, so we're gonna push our drums a little bit harder through saturation.
I give you, I give you all the
And don't be afraid to shave off the high end of your drums too, with the high shelf. Because those hi-hats are a little bright.
I give you all the love. I give you,
Let's do one thing with the drums. Let's delay the drums as a whole. Let's go to the wrench tool and turn up time shift just a little bit. And let's also mess with this. Whoa. One sec, guys. Hold on. Let's go to the swing parameter and start turning this up just to see if it adds an extra bounce.
I give you,
Also, I feel like the sample's a little,
I give you all the love.
it's a little time shift to the sample. I forgot we quantized the sample.
I give you, I give you all the love.
Okay, so now it's about getting that vibe, that low fidelity vibe. So we already did that with the kilohertz. See how it's super bright right now?
I give you,
Let's chop out the highs here with this big
I
crush.
give you all the love.
This is about getting the right drums. I think the drums are a little rushed though, in my opinion. Also, let's go back to the drums, and we can mess with the pitch of the drums too with this top left icon. So now it has a whole different tone. We can also add a volume envelope to the entire articulation group to truncate the entire chop of the drum. Let's add a little more time shift. I'm gonna boost the bass of the sample. We can also add this smacky sound to the drums here. Let's see what it sounds like. Fruity delay 3, dry level all the way down, feedback level all the way down, delay time all the way down. Turn up the limiter, and then turn it back on. So now the drums have this like smacky sound. Let's add a little saturation. Now we have that 90s kind of crunch. Let's just add the volume back with an EQ. Still feel like the hi-hats are just too bright. So I'm gonna run the hi-hat group through. So 51 and 52. We're gonna run these through the filter because it's just too bright for my ear. Let's just, you know what, let's put them in a whole different group 3. And then we're gonna use a low pass filter. Shave off some of the highs. There we go. It's just too bright. Okay, so now it's more tame. There we go. Here's before, which the drums sound fine, but they're just like there. They're not really, they don't have any character to them. Here's with the effects. We can probably pull back a little saturation. Let's see what happens if we run this vocal through the same, down sampler. All right, now what we're going to do here is speed this up. So let's right click, copy the value. I forgot we don't have time stretch on, so that doesn't make sense. Never mind. Let's just print this entire beat. So let's print this to. I'll show you guys a quicker way. Let's go to Edison, record on play, hit record, and I'll mute my mic so I don't record myself. All right, so now we have this. We can double click where it says song jump, send it to the playlist as an audio clip. We could just mute everything with the mute tool. And now we have the audio of the entire track. Let's double click, go to mode, stretch mode, and then go back and switch it to resample mode. So now what we could do is change the BPM. to get different vibes. And this adds that final like texture. So this is that final kind of touch. Slowing down is probably more style than speeding it up. Also try like tempos that are not hard numbers, like 92.6, just to get that final texture. And then over here we can mess with the stereo imaging. There's a lot of things we can do from here. Let's just run one more Fruity Delay 3, turn the dry level down, feedback level down, and then you guys can create automation for different things here. So I'm just going to record. We're going to move this knob over time. And let's see what else we get. Oh, we got to turn it on first. There we go. So I can mess with the stereo field like that. And if you automate this spread knob, it does a cool effect too with the pitch. It's very subtle though. So let's go ahead and record this. You can right click, make sure automation's turned on. I'm just gonna move my fader to create this like back and forth sound. All right, so that's doing more than just panning. It's moving the entire stereo field. So that's one way to do it. And let's go to a new pattern here and record some automation on the spread knob. This is going to create a pitch wobble effect in a subtle way. So those are little small details. So on pattern 4, I didn't realize we recorded over some drums. What I'll do instead of redoing the automation is just move the drums off this pattern. I don't know why FL works in terms of patterns when you record automation, but that's just how it works, I guess. So now we have all this movement that we did not have initially. We can also automate the limiter and different things like time modulation. This is more aggressive. So let's just keep automating these knobs. Let's go in and let's do this time the time modulation. We're gonna pull it back so it's not so aggressive, but I'll exaggerate it so you guys can hear the effect. It's pitch wobble. Or we're gonna pull the rate down so it's not so aggressive. And then we're gonna mess with the time cutoff, or the time, to create like more movement. So this effect, you can go overboard. That's why I started with the diffusion first, because that's a softer version of that same effect. Nextly, let's mess with this limiter. Let's see if we can get a unique sound. See how it's a little too aggressive. It goes, wow. So I just recorded that a little too aggressively. So we can also automate this. So let's just do this as the last thing here. So I didn't realize I recorded over another drum track. So that's why the volume got really weird at a certain point. It sounded phasey. So let's move these drums to a new pattern. All right, so now the drums are completely out the way. It's just automation at this point. And now we can see we have like 6 knobs that are turning now. Most people won't even automate one of those knobs. So this is how you create a vibe. Now, one of the knobs I did twist a little too hard, but just for the video's sake, we're gonna keep it in. All right, so that's how you guys add a vibe to your sound on top of the plugins and everything and composing it. So thank you guys for watching. To get these project files for free, just go to busyworksbeats.com/betterbeatmaker. I'll leave a link below. And if you want to learn how to make beats like the pros, that's the same link. Go to busyworksbeats.com/betterbeatmaker. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Peace out, guys.